Hi there, welcome back to my live feed where I'm talking about the power of stories. And today what I wanted to talk about was the power of stories and how the stories that we tell ourselves might well hold us back. One of the things that we've talked about is the editorial viewpoint. And if we've grown up with an editorial viewpoint that we're not really good enough, we can have quite a self-critical thought about ourselves. And that can often lead to us not embarking on new tasks, on trying things out, on having a go. Often we believe we're not good enough. Often we believe that we're not really special. We haven't really got anything to offer. And so therefore, who are we to try anything new or to think that we can make a difference to people's lives? I was one of those people when I was younger who used to get quite cross and angry at the circumstances in my life. And one of the things that I learned through my counselling journey was that although I can't control the circumstances, I can't control what happens to me in life, I can think about how I respond to those circumstances, and I do have a choice in the way that I think about them. One of the books that I read when I was on my counselling course was a book by a man called Viktor Frankl. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl was a Jewish intern in one of the concentration camps during the Second World War. He was kept alive because he was a doctor and he was able to treat people. But he observed the prisoners around him and the choices that they made to their circumstances. One of the things he noticed was that although everybody had to eat their very thin gruel and their one slice of bread a day in order to stay alive, that some of them chose not to do that. Some people actually chose to give away their one slice of bread to somebody else who was starving, even though for them it would mean death. And in that way, Viktor Frankl observed that even though in circumstances might take away everything, might take away every man's freedom, in the last analysis, people still have the freedom to choose how they respond to their circumstances. And he came out with a very famous phrase, which is, as long as a man has a why to live, he can live with almost anyhow. So we can choose how to respond to our circumstances. We can choose our experience of life. And so we can choose how we respond to the stories in our lives. Are we going to listen to the stories that we're not good enough? Are we going to live our lives according to that story? Or are we actually going to say, well, it doesn't really matter if I'm good enough or not, because you know what, I'm just going to try. And in so doing, who might we be able to help? Because to live a life where we're saying we're not good enough and we don't try, not only are we never asking and proving to ourselves that we can do something different, but we're also not helping those people who perhaps could benefit from our unique skills, our unique contribution that we can make to our lives. I used to be one of those people who thought I wasn't good enough, and I have to deal with that feeling every day. I still feel frightened. I still find tasks difficult, and I still wonder if I'm going to be able to do them. But what I'm learning along the way is that extraordinary things aren't done by extraordinary people. They're actually all just ordinary people, and that some ordinary people do extraordinary things. And my stories that I tell myself are beginning to change, and now I'm daydreaming about the differences that I could make to people's lives. I'm making up new stories, and I'm working towards a new way of living in a new story where I can work out the ways that I can help people, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm trying to do these live feeds. So I'd encourage you today, what could you do? What could you do that would mean that you were working towards a story that might make a real difference to yourself and to other people? Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.